Hey you guys, and welcome back to Things My Mother Taught Me But Forgot to Mention segments that I'm doing for the month of July. This is episode 3. This is your first episode. You're missing 2. Just saying. Well, I'm going to talk about today something that I probably should have just initiated the very first started this segment with. I mean, technically this really should have just been, like the first thing that my mother taught me but forgot to mention. The way, and this isn't even something that my mother told me, this was just something that, I've come to observe, I guess you can call it, since I'm an adult, The way that your parent individually raises you is not always going to be how all other parents raise their children. That should have been the overall consensus of what was told to you as a child. If you are an adult watching these and you know what I'm saying, then I'm sure you are sitting there nodding your head like, oh my God, yes. But if you're a child watching this, then this is something that you need to know, okay? How your parents teach you, the morals, the values, everything. If you haven't learned this by now, let me help you. That's not how every parent raises their child. So, you really shouldn't go out into the world with an expectation that everybody, or not even an expectation, but just with the thought or the mentality that everybody is going to think the way that you do, and everybody is going to do the same things that you do. Now, you will eventually either find people who was raised the same way that you were, or you will find people that have the same mentality as you, because I think we can all say that based off of the things that our parents have told us, and based off the fact that we have learned that not everybody sees things those ways, we have altered things about ourselves, in our adulthood. But you will ultimately find people that believe the same things that you do. And honestly, part of growing up is finding your own way and, coming up with your own morals and ideas and things like that. So, and it's also a reason why sometimes friends grow apart. You know what I'm saying? Aside from just natural things like college and life changes, some people get pregnant at 16, some people get pregnant at 25, some people get pregnant at 40. That can also alter your friendships, but that's beside the point. The point of this episode is just understanding the concept that the way your parents raise you isn't how everyone else is raised. And I find it really funny that, at least for me, whenever I would complain about or get upset over the fact that, I was doing all these things that my mother taught me to do, and people were not doing it, and it was just coming off to me as being really rude, because that's how I was raised to believe that these things are really rude. That's when my mother says, well, Gigi, not everybody is raised the same way you were. Well, dang, mama, don't you think that's something that you should have said from the jump? Am I the only person that feels like that's something that should have been said? I just want to know. Because I feel like that is something that should have been said from the get-go. What do you guys think? Has that ever happened to you? And did I ever just kind of click in your mind and give you an epiphany that is like, well, if you know that that is not how everyone is raised, why are you raising me that way? Now, if you're a child and you're watching this, do not take it as me saying be deviant because your parents are lying. Your parents aren't lying. What your parents are doing, if they're telling you the same things that my mother was telling me, is preparing you for really how to act as an adult and how to act in the real world, and how to, really have people want to be around you. Because, let's call a spade a spade. If you're the opposite of that and you're just really mean and disgusting and you're flaky and you treat people however you want to be treated, a lot of people aren't going to want to be around you. That's just the reality of the situation. So don't be deviant from what, your parents are telling you. But I'm just letting you know pretty much the transitional stages from child to an adult that I experienced in the topic of things my mother told me that she forgot to mention. That's it. That's really it. And like I said, either this should have been the very first episode, or maybe it should have been the last episode. I'm not really sure what episode this should have been, but I do feel like this is just kind of like the overall consensus of everything that sums up what your parents teach you. It's like your parents teach you the 10 commandments, and then there's an 11th commandment that says, but not everybody are going to follow these 10 commandments. So, I mean, don't get mad. I kind of feel like that 11th commandment should have been right after every one of the 10. I feel like for me, it would have just given me better preparation. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm a psychopath. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming on this month-long journey of things my mother taught me but forgot to mention. I really, really hope that you guys are enjoying these segments. And, yeah, that's really it. I hope you guys got your 7-Eleven. If you didn't get your 7-Eleven, I mean, there's always next year. There's nothing else I can tell you. Have a great night, because it's clearly nighttime, or it's heading on nighttime where I am. That's really all I have to say. Okay, bye.